We're here for the East Coast Surfing Hall of Fame, and my first character, I'm going to call him a character that I'm finding today, is my good mate, Ricky Carroll. Now, I'm going to start off with making him laugh, because I think the first time we hung out, I'd already met you, I think. We went to see the Psychedelic Furs at Grassy's in Cocoa Beach.
That's right. I think we ended up standing on the tables that night.
No, I remember it was in this tiny little club and nobody knew who they were. Remember we had front seats, right? And we'd be great mates. Because it's a great mate of mine, Jimbo Gaskin.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a couple of things first. Is you've been building surfboards probably longer than anybody on the East Coast.
There's a few guys still out there that started before me, but a lot of them have passed or retired. But I shaped my first board in 1973.
But on the business side, there's not too many left that actually have a business.
Oh,
like
that's true. That's true.
Right. Yeah, but you've been shaping what, 50 years?
50 years, yes.
And quite a good surfer too.
Well, yeah.
Surfed in a few contests for years, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you something about what's your best memory about surfing?
Surfing, wow, there's so many, like surfing brings you places, you meet people. When I started doing the local motion boards, I met Pat Rawson, got to go over there and shape with him, stay at his house, and it became my North Shore home away from home was Pat and Carmen's house. Every winter I'd go and stay with Pat Rawson and surf the North Shore.
Plus the interaction from a shaping point of view.
Exactly, and learning from him, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Just meeting Pat. So all the guys you meet, trying to learn from them, coming up through natural art with shapers like Greg Lohr, Rich Price, those guys, I learned a lot from those guys.
If there's one board you remember that you've shaped, not just for yourself or anyone, which one is it?
I think the board I ever worked the hardest in my life on was when the Reef company had the board build off here at the expo, and I built a board for the board build off that I spent about 150 hours on. So I built this 11-foot balsa wood gun. I channeled out channels and put bamboo in it and palm mat on the rails. This board, it hangs in my house. I call it the $10,000 board because I put so many hours in it.
I was going to ask you, where is it?
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't give that one away,
no,
right?
I didn't let that one go.
So what's it mean to you to be in the East Coast Surfing Hall of Fame?
I had great honor. Ever since the inception of the Hall of Fame, I would go to all of the ceremonies. I got to induct Marianne Hayes into the Hall of Fame, and it was, just always proud to be there and watch these guys receive this honor. I didn't really think about it too much of that I would actually be in it. I really didn't. And then when people would start coming up to me, aren't you in the Hall of Fame? No, I'm not in the Hall of Fame, no. And I guess.
But now you are, mate.
The criteria changed, I guess, because they wouldn't put people in that are still active in their field. Like Kelly Slater's not in the East Coast Hall of Fame yet because he's still actively competing.
I'm pretty sure he will at one point.
Right. So when they came up with the Legends division, if you were 60 years or above, but still active, you could be inducted. So that's how I got it.
Well, that's been unreal, mate. I was there that night. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Ricky, not many people remember the Ricky Carroll, the contest guy.
Right.
So what's your memory of your best contest?
Yeah, so many, so many great contests I surfed in, from surfing shortboard in the amateur ranks, working up to surfing professional, and then surfing longboard professional. So, I went through the whole gamut of surfing contests. The world contest in Australia that you and I were at,
right.
that was a pretty big deal for me, to
right.
get to go to that. And it's funny because I went there in the Kneeboard division of all things.
Right.
You talked about Jimbo. Jimbo and I used to kneeboard in the ESA just so we could go out in another heat. That's why we did it. It was for fun. We didn't care if we won or not. And I ended up winning the US Championships in Cape Hatteras. So that got me a slot on the US team. So, that was a pretty big deal to go over to Australia and compete in that contest.
Absolutely. Anytime you represent the country is a big deal.
Tom Curran was there, so it was a big deal, yeah.
We're here at Surf Expo in Orlando. you've been coming to this thing for a long, long time. You've been having a booth here
Yeah.
for, I think, pretty much since way back in the day.
Right.
What's the Surf Expo mean to you and the biz?
I mean, the business part of Surf Expo for board builders has changed over the years, and the guys that come here, I know why they come here. It's still to try to be relevant in the industry. You can get lost in this industry like that. You can be forgotten about and look just people looking elsewhere for who they want to go to. And I think the Surf Expo is really important to be here to stay relevant in the industry.